Well, we see you last night.
Well, they came to school.
They got the box for my yard, huh?
And Sept.
Oh, girl.
We're going to go to a local election here. We have Jeff McWhorter. He's running in District 1, and he's a newcomer. He's not a political person. He's a farmer. And there's nothing wrong with being a farmer. And there's nothing wrong for running for county board. And he is wishing to run for a seat on the county board that's been, held by a person that thinks that he can't be beat. And we'd like to see that turned around. Come up here, Jeff, please.
Thanks, Dick, for that nice introduction. And I encourage everybody to make sure they get out and vote in November, because we got to keep Phil Hare in there for sure, because without him, we're in trouble. We need to keep the Senate seat in the state of Illinois a Democrat, and we need to get some of these other fine candidates reelected. So please, everybody go out and vote November 2nd. Appreciate you voting for me if you're in my district. Thank you.
Anyhow, there's 5 townships on the lower tier plus Mercer, which is the 6th. And it's a tough one. There's a whale of a lot of Republicans in that. But if you know anybody that can get out in those townships and help Jeff McWhorter, he's worthy of a vote. Okay? Now, the next one is Bob Pritchett. Bob, he is running for regional superintendent of schools, and he is presently a regional superintendent. No, he's a superintendent presently down in Taylorville, or Taylor County.
Christian County, Kincaid, South Fork Ponies. Won last night 42-2. We're real proud of those kids. But listen, I appreciate also being a voter and resident of Roseville, Illinois. I hold dual residency, if you will. And I appreciate the Democratic Party putting a lifelong Democrat on the ballot. I appreciate all your efforts to put me back on the ballot. At this time, I'd like to introduce my campaign manager of 25 years, Claire. Claire, would you stand up and say hi? I want to talk about a few facts and figures, because I think when Democrats talk about jobs, they win. And it was about 2 years ago this month when we were told that we were going to have to save the banks and all the financial institutions of this country, which the American people were agreeable to put out billions of dollars of money. But one of those acts that President Obama brought in when he came into office was the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act. And we know what that has done to improve infrastructure and bring jobs to the state of Illinois. But here's how it worked for schools in the state of Illinois this last fiscal year. If you look at general state aid, all 26 payments were sent to our schools downstate that depend on that as their lifeblood, because the state worked together with the federal government. In other words, 20% of the state aid was actually derived from the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act. Otherwise, if it wouldn't have been for President Obama and Phil Hare working with our state representatives, schools would be in a lot deeper trouble locally than they are today, thanks to them. Another act that I'd like to point out that Phil Hare brought in was the Education Jobs Fund bill. That brought $415 million of additional federal money to the state of Illinois. And just to give you an example of how that helps, one of the schools that I'll be serving in Mercer County, District 404, will receive $371,540 under that act. That brings teachers back into the classroom. That brings sustainable jobs. It brings curriculum in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, which are needed for the new economies and the green technologies. So I encourage you to talk about jobs. I'm proud to be your Democratic representative for Superintendent of Schools for Henderson, Mercer, and Warren counties. thank you very much for listening to this evening. And let's get out and get that Democratic vote out. Thank you.
Maxine Henry, our county board chairman, would you like to say something, Maxine?
Hi, I'm Maxine Henry. I'm the first woman county board chairman for Mercer County. And it was a tough job to start out with. We had a lot of problems, but we're getting there. But we need to get out and vote on November 2nd. As Senator Jacobs said, government does work for us. Without Senator Jacobs, Representative Verschoore, and Congressman Phil Hare, we would not be where we are today. Our roads are in horrible shape, and they're doing everything they can to help us bring money, bring our tax dollars back into Mercer County. So I hope everybody gets out on November 2nd and votes Democrat all the way down the line.
I guess it sounds like a broken record, but what everyone before me has said, it's really important to get out and vote this year. I've been reading some polling, and it says that the Republicans are highly energized and the Democrats aren't. And that's what happened to us in 1994 when we had those great losses, is the Democrats didn't get out and vote, and we were within a few votes in certain areas where we could have elected the Democrats. So get out and vote. And I would like to say also, like Judge Conway and Mike Darrow said about Judge Kilbride. Judge Kilbride is really being attacked now for making the right decision. I mean, he couldn't vote any other way according to the Constitution. So, but they're beating him up on that. And I was talking to him the other day, and he said what the Republicans are doing, he says, like statistics, you can make them work with you or against you. They're just picking out certain cases that he ruled on and attacking him on those. They're not doing the whole 1,000 cases he reviewed. Phil Hare is in a fight for his life also, and we've got to get him back. Like one of the other speakers said, he is the key to the rest of the Democrats in Rock Island, Mercer County, and all over. I know that there's some other candidates here that want to talk. I just asked for your vote on November 2nd, and Mike Jacobs is not up this year. He's lucky, that's good. But Phil Hare, Kilbride, Mike Darrow, Judge Conway, Tom Thompson, and whoever else I haven't forgotten, I guess, vote for the Democrats. Thank you very much.
I've had the privilege of being your sheriff for the past 8 years, and this year I've got 2 opponents. Both of them have made a lot of promises and said a lot of things that they're going to do, and all I can tell you is to speak from my experience. I am the only candidate in this sheriff's race who has experience in supervising and operating a jail, and that's going to be very important in the upcoming next year or so. I'm also the only candidate who has experience in supervising and operating an emergency 911 center. I have more hours of training in police supervision, police administration, police tactics, and jail operations than either of the other 2 candidates put together. It's obvious to me who's the most qualified, who's the most experienced, but it's not up to me. It's up to all of you and all of the other folks, citizens of Mercer County. I thank you for the support that you've given me over the past 8 years and the confidence that you've had in me over the past 8 years. I'm here tonight asking that you have continue to support me, continue to have confidence in me for the next 4 by going out on November 2nd and voting for Sheriff Tom Thompson. Thank you.